Hello everyone, it is Mr. Pope here, and this week I had a little bit of a different idea. I decided that I wanted to do just sort of a weekly podcast where I talk with y'all about whatever, whether that be history, whatever is going on in my life, and generally just kind of ramble on and talk. So that's what we're going to be doing today. So I wanted to start off, I wanted to say that this last month has been great for the channel, and that's really thanks to all of you who have been watching and supporting me. We last month, if you don't know, we uploaded a video called 5 Vice Presidential Facts, and that video has just done amazing over the last month. In fact, right now it's sitting at 3K views, which is the most of any video on my channel. And it's done a lot to really help us out and help us grow. We're up to, at this moment, 44 subscribers. So I really just kind of wanted to say thank you to you guys for that. We've had really good growth, and I'm hoping we can keep it up. I'd like to get to 100 subs by the end of this year. So let's hope we can get there. But on to the next topic. I realized that when I started this channel, I didn't really introduce myself to you guys too much. Y'all don't really know that much about me, which isn't a bad thing, but I'd like y'all to know a little bit more about me. So, for those of y'all who don't know, I am Mr. Pope. This is my channel, and I like history. Um, Currently, I am a senior in college, finishing up a degree in history. I've got 2 semesters left, and I really love it. I'm I have my associate's degree. I have that, and I am also a member of a History Honor Society, Phi Alpha Theta, which was started back in the 1920s. I joined that last semester. Um, that's just to sort of give you guys an idea of my credentials, where I'm coming from, so y'all know I'm a historian. If you hear some scratching in the background, that is my cat. I'm sorry, she's just being a little weirdo. But yeah, so that's kind of who I am. Not too much information, but just something so y'all kind of know about me. But I decided for this little podcast, I want to just generally talk about whatever, what's on my mind. So I thought I would kind of talk about the recent ambassadors forum that I went to at my college. Now, for those of you who don't know what an ambassadors forum is, it's exactly what it sounds like. It's just they get a bunch of people who have been ambassadors to several different countries, and they have them come and talk, and you can ask them questions. It was a very interesting event because it went over the idea of globalism versus nationalism in trying to fight issues like climate change. And one of the conclusions that was kind of come to during this forum was that you need both. You're not going to be able to get rid of either one, so you need them to interact and cooperate if you want to solve issues like that. And I thought that was a very interesting idea. I believe it was Ambassador Nagby who said that, Tagore Nagby, and it was just a very interesting idea. One of the ambassadors there has actually been working with John Kerry, who, as many of you probably know, has been working on climate change in the Biden administration, and he's been helping out with that in his current role. And it was very interesting to get that perspective because climate change has been John Kerry's big thing during the administration. One of the ambassadors who was there was actually Ronald Newman. And for those of you who don't know, he was the U.S. ambassador in Afghanistan from '05 to '07. And I thought it was very interesting to hear and see from him because he didn't really talk much about recent things in Afghanistan. There were comments made about it, but I believe those were by the other ambassadors. And it was a very interesting little event. There was one ambassador, Ambassador Spratland, who she said she was of the belief that the Cold War had never really ended, but that it had just taken another form. And that was an interesting take. I don't know how much I agree with it, but certainly now I think we are seeing a shift of people into a Cold War mentality again, and possibly a second Cold War, but that's still a very debatable topic, and it entirely depends on which scholars you kind of ask at the moment. So I don't know what to say about it. It's something I'd like to look into more and research, but we're definitely seeing more of that pivot into the great power competition of the Cold War and less of a focus on terrorism, which is what we've seen mainly for the last 20 years. So it was, like I said, it was a very interesting event. If you ever have the chance, I recommend you go to one and just listen, ask questions if you can. Really, it's a fun event. I highly recommend it if you're into that sort of discussion of policy, and especially if you like foreign policy. It's a very interesting way to get involved and learn some new things. Um, Among the other things I want to talk about, I've been in one of my classes. We've been talking about recently the American military campaigns during the Revolutionary War. That is one of the classes I'm taking, is on the era of the American Revolution, which has been very interesting. We've just got through. We were talking about Brandywine, which was the defeat of General Washington outside of Philadelphia in 1777, and that was a big loss because after that the British went in, they took Philadelphia, and they captured it for the winter. But there's that old Ben Franklin quote of, Howe has not captured Philadelphia. Philadelphia has captured Howe, which I think is a very funny quote because at the same time that you had Washington losing at at Brandywine, you had General Gates securing an American victory up at Saratoga. So Washington was able to kind of mitigate the impact of that because the Battle of Saratoga would end up seeing the entry of France into the war as an ally of the United States, which is very important, and I cannot understate that. But it's always interesting to think about that. It really feels like the year is starting to zoom by. It's already March, which feels very weird. You know, it feels like I just started this last semester, but it certainly is going by fast. We're approaching up on spring break, and I've got midterms on Monday, and I am not ready for those. But again, I don't think people are ever really ready for midterms. I don't know anyone who's ever just said, "Oh yeah, I'm totally ready." You know, midterms. I'm just gonna destroy them. I don't think that. By this point in the semester, I'm always kind of like, how do I really feel about this? But no, I think I'll do okay. I always tend to do really okay. I have to just really struggle in the class and not do okay. But that's besides the point. It really does feel like this year and semester is flying by, and I wish it would slow down a little, because it's already approaching just very quickly to the end of the semester, and I've got research projects and all sorts of stuff to work on. But what I want to talk about today is because today, when I'm recording this, is March 4th, which is a very important historic day. Because, for those of you who do not know, March 4th is the day that presidents used to be inaugurated on, and that is really interesting. So every president from Washington in his second term up into FDR in his first term were inaugurated, the exceptions being those who ascended to the presidency, were inaugurated on March 4th. And it's very interesting because that was part of the idea was, well, they need more time to count votes, give presidents more time to assemble their teams and get everything ready. We ended up switching that in 1932, 1933. No, after FDR's first term, I believe. In fact, let me look at that, because I know I've made a video, but I can't recall off the top of my head. 20th Amendment. So, the 20th Amendment was... It was adopted on January 23rd, 1933. So it was too late to help FDR get inaugurated any earlier during his first term, but since 1933, that has been the preferred date. So, and again, a lot of it was because there was like, maybe waiting 5 months isn't really a good idea. Maybe we should get the president in a little bit earlier. I actually think we need to switch it up and maybe inaugurate them earlier. That, or we need to hold the election later in the year. Maybe do something like what France does, where they have their election in May and the president is not inaugurated at the end of the month. Uh, I think that would be a much better solution, but that would be very hard to implement because you would have to update the Constitution again. So I don't see anything like that happening anytime soon, but I think it would make sense. Tell me what you guys think if we should move it up, or if you would alternatively like to see it extended back to what it originally was. I wonder if there's anyone out there who has that belief. But essentially, that it's just one of those things that we do. I'm trying to think if there's anything else I have that happened on this day. I cannot think of anything, but in terms of I have some channel updates actually. On Monday, I'll be doing an interview with Russ Woody, historian from TikToks. For those of you who don't know, Russ Woody is a writer, and on TikTok, he shares history content and makes TikToks over history. He's a very interesting guy. He was very nice. He has agreed to sit down for a little interview. So expect that out soon after I have met with him. I do want to keep doing these sorts of interviews with people because I think they're generally really fun. I like to show people that you can be involved in history, whether you're a professor or not. You can be involved and interested in history no matter what you do. I'd like to at some point get some of my other friends who are historians on here, who I know, who I've gone to college with, who have now graduated, and let them have a chance to talk and just enjoy themselves. But it is certainly one of those things that I think is cool. So, but I also in the comments, everyone, please tell me how you're doing. You know, this time of year, people start to get into that grind, but it's nice to know, just slow down. Tell me how you're doing, how your life is going. I want to know. So, that's it for today. Again, this is a very rambly podcast style thing. That's something new I'm trying to try out. I thought would be interesting. Please let me know what y'all think about it in the comments. This is just something to talk, give any updates, and just kind of let y'all get to know me a little bit better. So, everyone, please have a wonderful day. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and keep studying history.